something is building at Arsenal Football Club, not quietly, not slowly, but with real purpose and real momentum. Every single day, new pieces of the puzzle are falling into place. Transfer targets are emerging, ownership backing is confirmed, young stars are being praised at international level, and the manager at the heart of it all, Mikel Arteta, is being spoken about by his own players in a way that tells you everything about the culture inside that dressing room. Welcome to Melissa Arsenal Analyst. My name is Melissa, and today we are going through every single major story surrounding Arsenal right now. We are going deep, we are going wide, and we are not cutting corners. Stay with me until the very end, because the full picture of what Arsenal are planning this summer is genuinely exciting. Let us start with a story that dropped and immediately set the football world talking. Florian Plettenberg, the well-respected journalist from Sky Germany, released an exclusive update revealing that Arsenal are interested in Christian Kofane'S, the young striker currently playing for Bayer Leverkusen. And the key word in that original update was the word monitoring. Arsenal have been watching this player closely. Now, monitoring a player is one thing, but what happened next is where this story became genuinely significant. Eric DiPolo, the agent of Christian Kofane'S own record, he spoke via Daily Talking Arsenal, and what he said was not vague, it was not diplomatic, it was direct and it was clear. DiPolo stated, and I want you to hear these words carefully, yes, Arsenal's interest is genuine. Mikel Arteta likes him very much. There is contact between me and Arsenal. But their focus right now is on winning the league. After that, everything will start to move. Now, let me give you my analysis of that statement, because there is a lot packed into those few sentences. First, the agent did not deny the interest. He confirmed it. He said the word genuine. That is not a diplomatic answer designed to keep options open. That is a direct confirmation that Arsenal and the Kofane'S camp are talking. Second, he confirmed that Mikel Arteta personally likes this player very much. That detail matters enormously. When a manager personally endorses a target, it means the player fits the tactical identity that the manager is building. Arteta does not chase players for the sake of it. When his name is attached to interest in a specific player, it is because that player fits a specific need. Third, the agent gave a timeline. He said everything will start to move after the league race. That tells you the summer window is when this deal could accelerate. Arsenal's priority right now is the Premier League title. Once that chapter closes, the transfer business begins in full, and then there is the valuation. DiPolo said, and again I want you to hear this clearly, he is a €100 million player. With Kofane'S, Arsenal will have a top striker for the next 10 years, €100 million. That is the agent's public valuation. Now, agents always value their clients highly, that is understood, but the fact he said 10 years tells you something about the profile of this player. He is not a short-term solution. He is a generational signing in the agent's view. Now, let us look at what we know about Kofane'S actual performances, because the numbers back up the hype. Despite being only 19 years old, he has registered 7 goals and 8 assists in 39 appearances across all competitions for Bayer Leverkusen this season. That is a combined contribution of 15 goal involvements for a teenager playing for one of the most demanding clubs in Germany. He was also born in Douala, Cameroon, and has already earned 6 caps for the Cameroon national team. He is not a prospect on paper. He is already performing at the highest level. And then there is this detail that cannot be ignored. Real Madrid are also said to be interested in Christian Kofane'S. That is not an accident. When Real Madrid circle a player at the same time as Arsenal, it tells you the football world has identified someone special. The situation for Arsenal is clear. If they are serious about this player, and the agent's words suggest they are, then they need to move with purpose when the window opens. Because at 19 years old, with this level of attention and this level of output, Kofane'S will not be short of options. Before we continue, I want to say something directly to you. If you are here for real Arsenal analysis, for stories broken down with honesty and depth rather than clickbait, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is built for supporters who want to understand what is actually happening, not just what the headlines say. Subscribe and you will never miss a breakdown like this one. Kroenke backing confirmed. Now let's move to a story that gives context to everything Arsenal are trying to do in the transfer market. Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke have reportedly assured Mikel Arteta of full financial backing in the transfer market ahead of next season. That assurance, according to what has emerged, covers any key signing that Arteta identifies. The ambition has also been spelt out clearly. The club are understood to be targeting reinforcements across 4 specific areas: fullback, midfield, winger and striker. My analysis of this is straightforward. This is not a rebuild. This is an upgrade operation. Arsenal are not replacing the squad. They are adding quality to an already competitive group with the specific intention of dominating not just in England but across Europe and at world football level. When ownership communicates this kind of backing directly to the manager, it does two things. First, it empowers the manager to negotiate with confidence. Arteta can speak to players and their representatives, knowing that financial commitment is behind him. Second, it signals to the players already at the club that the project is growing, not stalling. 4 positions targeted: fullback, midfield, winger and striker. Keep those 4 positions in mind as we go through the rest of this video, because several other stories we are covering today connect directly to each one of those areas: agent fees and Arsenal's smart spending. Here is a data point that tells a quiet story about how Arsenal operate compared to their rivals. Arsenal spent £32.2 million on agent fees. That figure placed them 5th among the top 6 spenders in the Premier League. Chelsea led the list with £65.1 million. Aston Villa were second with £38.4 million. Liverpool spent £33.9 million. And then Arsenal at £32.2 million. Manchester United came in 6th at £31.7 million. Now, my analytical take on this is important. Arsenal spent significantly less than Chelsea, who spent more than double Arsenal's figure. Yet Arsenal are competing for the Premier League title. That ratio of spending to performance is actually a mark of intelligent operation, not a weakness. What these figures also confirm is that Arsenal have been active. £32.2 million in agent fees reflects real transfer business, contract renewals and player negotiations. It is not a club that has been sitting still. It is a club that has been working strategically while spending at a level that reflects value awareness. In a world where Chelsea is spending £65 million just on agents, Arsenal being £32 million while competing for the title is, from an analyst's perspective, actually impressive. Viktor Gyökeres trademarks his mask celebration. Now, here is a story that connects directly to Arsenal's rumoured striker pursuit, even though no transfer confirmation exists here. Fabrizio Romano reported that Viktor Gyökeres has taken a trademark for his mask celebration. That trademark was filed after Gyökeres helped Sweden qualify for the World Cup by scoring 4 goals across 2 playoff finals. Now, let me be precise about what I can and cannot say here. That detail, even in a visual context, reflects the level of public association between Gyökeres and Arsenal that has developed in recent months. What the trademark story itself tells us, from a purely analytical standpoint, is that Gyökeres is thinking about his brand, his legacy and his long-term presence in top-level football. A player who trademarks their celebration is a player who believes they are building something permanent at the highest level. For Arsenal supporters watching this, the World Cup qualifier performance, 4 goals in 2 games, is exactly the kind of high-stakes output that top clubs want from their number 9. Morten Hjulmand and the midfield question. Arsenal remain interested in Morten Hjulmand, the midfielder currently playing for Sporting CP. A summer move is being considered. Sporting have reportedly set their asking price at €40 million. That figure has been described as a fair valuation, though it also suggests the Portuguese club could be open to negotiation. Now, remember what I said earlier. One of Arsenal's 4 priority positions for this summer is midfield. Hjulmand fits directly into that need. He plays for Sporting CP. He is a midfielder, and a €40 million price tag, while not small, is a manageable figure for a club with Kroenke backing confirmed behind the manager. The situation here is one of patient interest. Arsenal have not rushed, they are monitoring, they are considering, and Sporting have set their price. The next step, if Arsenal decide to move, would be opening formal talks. That phase would likely come after the domestic season concludes. From an analytical perspective, the fact that this interest has been sustained over time rather than fading away suggests Hjulmand genuinely fits what Arteta is looking for in the middle of the park. Tino Livramento and the fullback priority. Another of Arsenal's 4 priority positions is fullback, and here is where Tino Livramento enters the picture. Arsenal are reportedly leading the race to sign the England under-21 international, who currently plays for Newcastle United as a right-back. He is 22 years old. The belief in North London is growing that Livramento could be available this summer, and critically, it is understood that the player himself would find it difficult to turn down a move to Arsenal, particularly given Arsenal's position as potential Premier League champions. My analysis here is precise. A 22-year-old England under-21 right-back who is already playing Premier League football is not a gamble, he is an investment. He is at the age where a move to a title-challenging club could define the trajectory of his entire career. The fact that Arsenal are described as leading the race, not just interested but leading, suggests they have done meaningful groundwork here. This is not casual monitoring, this is front-running, and again, this connects back directly to the Kroenke backing story. Fullback was listed as a priority, Livramento is a right-back, the dots are connecting. Pep Guardiola leaving Manchester City. Now, this is a story that sits outside the Arsenal bubble, but its implications for Arsenal and for English football more broadly are significant. Sources from Matchday Central are claiming that Pep Guardiola has made the decision to leave Manchester City at the end of the current season. The decision has reportedly been communicated internally at the club. There has been no official announcement at the time of this update, but an official statement is expected before the season ends. Enzo Maresca said to be at the top of Manchester City's shortlist to replace Guardiola. Let me give you my measured analysis of this because I want to be responsible about how we handle this story. This comes from sources claiming insider knowledge. It is not yet an official confirmation from Manchester City or from Guardiola himself. So while the claim is significant, viewers should treat this as a reported development, not a confirmed one. However, if this turns out to be accurate, the implications for English football are enormous. Guardiola has defined Manchester City's era. His potential departure would fundamentally reshape the competitive landscape of the Premier League. For Arsenal, a Manchester City in transition would represent an opportunity. But again, until this is officially confirmed, we analyse it as a reported claim rather than a settled fact. Martin Ødegaard speaks on his game. Martin Ødegaard, Arsenal's captain, gave an interview via Soccer Bible in which he spoke openly about his philosophy as a footballer. He said, and I am reading his words directly, "It's always been important to keep that creative side to my game. I'm someone who likes to play with freedom, and I'm at my best when I have that flow to my game." He also added, "The tactics are really important, but you always need to feel the game and go with your instincts when the moment is right." My analysis of these words goes beyond surface level. Ødegaard is not just describing his style, he is describing the environment Arteta has created. A manager who values creative players and allows them freedom within a tactical structure is a manager building for both discipline and expression. The fact that Ødegaard speaks so naturally about having that freedom suggests he genuinely experiences it at Arsenal. This is the voice of a player who is comfortable, a player who is settled, a player who is playing in an environment designed to bring out his best. Ødegaard on Arteta, the relationship that built a title contender. Staying with Ødegaard, he also spoke about his relationship with Mikel Arteta in terms that are genuinely striking. He said, "He was one of the main reasons I joined. His work is incredible and I've learnt so much from him. The standards are just so high. He always wants the best for everyone." Now that is a statement from the captain of the football club, not from ownership, not from a spokesperson, from the man who wears the armband and leads the group every single day. When Ødegaard says Arteta was one of the main reasons he joined, he is telling us that Arteta's reputation as a developer of players and a builder of winning culture was already established in the minds of top players before Arsenal had won anything major. And when he says the standards are so high, he is validating what we see from the outside. Arsenal under Arteta are not just talented, they are structured, they are driven, and they hold each other to a level that is producing results. This kind of manager-captain relationship is the foundation of everything Arsenal are building. It is not an accident, it is by design. Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly at England under-21 level. England under-21 manager Lee Carsley spoke publicly about two Arsenal youngsters who have been representing their country, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri. Carsley said he has seen Lewis-Skelly coming through the age groups and that the chemistry between him and Nwaneri is really good. He noted they find each other in pockets of space and described them as very good on and off the pitch. My analysis of this is simply this. Two Arsenal Academy products are being spoken about at international youth level by a national team manager who has no obligation to praise them beyond what they have earned. That kind of external validation matters. Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri are not just prospects, they are players already making impressions beyond their club. And the fact that Carsley specifically highlighted the connection between them suggests they operate with a shared understanding that goes beyond individual talent. For a club investing in its future, having two young players praised in this way at international level is a genuine marker of development done right. Thomas Tuchel and the England defeat to Japan. England manager Thomas Tuchel addressed the defeat to Japan, and what he said offered a revealing look at the importance of Arsenal players to the England setup. Tuchel spoke about missing Harry Kane and then listed the players whose absence affected England's performance, and among those names were Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice. He said losing Noni, Bukayo, Declan Rice, John Stones, who are normally the core and the drive of this group, affected the team. He described them as the players who carry the quality and the momentum on their shoulders. He went further, describing the situation as losing basically the entire leadership group. Now, my analysis of this is focused. Tuchel's words confirm something Arsenal supporters already sense. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice are not just important to Arsenal, they are considered essential by the England national team manager as well. These are not just Premier League contributors, these are players whose presence or absence changes the outcome of international football matches. That is the level Arsenal are operating at in terms of the quality of players they have in their squad. FA Cup quarter-final kit news. Arsenal will wear their home red kit for the FA Cup quarter-final clash away at Southampton this weekend. The Saints will wear a special yellow anniversary shirt, which means both clubs will not clash on colours. This allows Arsenal to wear their home kit despite being the away team. This is a logistical detail, but for supporters planning to watch or attend, it is confirmed. Arsenal in red away at Southampton in the FA Cup quarter-final. The Arsenal 2026-2027 leaked kit. A leaked image of Arsenal's home kit for the 2026-2027 season has emerged via OPE leak and was shared by AFTV. The design appears to feature the classic red and white Adidas combination that Arsenal supporters are familiar with. The main shirt sponsor remains Emirates Fly Better. The significant new detail visible in the leaked image is a secondary sponsor, Dial, which appears on the sleeve area of the kit. Leaked kits are not always accurate representations of the final product, but the level of detail in this image, including the Adidas branding, the Emirates logo, and the new secondary sponsor, suggests this could be a genuine early look at what Arsenal will wear in the coming season. For supporters, this is one to watch. The design appears clean and in line with Arsenal's traditional aesthetic. Wayne Rooney on Bukayo Saka. Wayne Rooney spoke publicly about Bukayo Saka's struggles this season, and what he said deserves genuine attention. Rooney acknowledged the enormous pressure Saka has been carrying, particularly during the period when Martin Ødegaard was injured and Saka stepped up as captain. He described the pressure to win trophies at a club like Arsenal as something that can build up and make things difficult. But then Rooney said something important. He said Saka has struggled this season, but he is a fantastic player and he has been brilliant. He added that Saka has played a great deal of games in his career and that there is more to come from him. My analysis of this is precise and clear. Wayne Rooney is not criticising Saka. He is contextualising Saka's season in a way that is actually deeply sympathetic. He is drawing on his own experience of carrying enormous pressure as a young star, and he is recognising the same weight on Saka's shoulders. The reality is that Saka took on the captain's role, continued performing, and is still contributing in a season where Arsenal are challenging for the Premier League title. A player who can carry that burden and keep going is not struggling in the traditional sense. He is managing the immense demands of being at the centre of a title challenge. The account posting this story was right to push back against criticism of Saka. The evidence suggests that what some are calling a struggle is actually a player doing everything asked of him in extraordinarily demanding circumstances. Kofane'S deal in detail. Building on everything we covered from the screenshot, the full picture around Kofane'S adds further context that sharpens the analysis. Christian Kofane'S turned 19 last July. He was born in Douala, Cameroon, and in his debut season in Germany, he has produced 7 goals and 8 assists across 39 appearances for Bayer Leverkusen. The Champions League connection is particularly relevant. It is understood that his performances in the round of 16 specifically left a lasting impression on Arteta's coaching staff. That level of scrutiny, being scouted in the Champions League at 19, is not something that happens to average players. That happens to players who perform when the stage is at its largest. The agent's valuation of €100 million is high, but context matters. The evidence suggests that clubs, including Real Madrid, are also tracking this player. When Real Madrid and Arsenal are watching the same 19-year-old striker, the market forces around that player will not remain quiet. For Arsenal, the window to move is real, but it is not infinite. The interest is genuine, the contact is confirmed, and the summer is when everything will start to move. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the player's own agent. Edison from Atalanta, the midfield solution. Now we move to a story that speaks directly to Arsenal's midfield ambitions. Atalanta midfielder Edison dos Santos has been linked with a move to Arsenal. He is 26 years old. He is Brazilian and he plays as a central midfielder. The reported price tag is €50 million. Arsenal director Andrea Berta is said to be an admirer of the player, and the competition for his signature comes from Atletico Madrid, who are reportedly willing to go up to €40 million. My analysis here is focused on the profile match. A central midfielder who brings control, defensive cover, composure, and creativity in the middle of the park is exactly the kind of player Arsenal need to add depth and quality to their engine room. The fact that Arsenal's director is specifically named as an admirer is a meaningful detail. Transfer business at this level does not happen by accident. If the director is watching a player and has formed a positive view, the groundwork for a potential deal has already begun. Atletico Madrid's ceiling appears to be €40 million based on what has been reported. Arsenal, with the Kroenke backing now confirmed, could outmuscle that figure if Arteta identifies Edison as the right fit. The opportunity exists, the interest appears genuine. The summer will tell us whether action follows. Gabriel Martinelli and the left-wing situation. This is the most complex story in today's analysis, and I want to approach it with full honesty. Arsenal are reportedly open to selling Gabriel Martinelli this summer for a fee of around £50 million. The 24-year-old Brazilian winger has been losing ground in the starting lineup, with Leandro Trossard featuring more regularly in recent weeks. 4 clubs have already registered interest in Martinelli: Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig and Marseille. A move to Saudi Arabia, specifically to Al Nassr, also cannot be ruled out. Sources close to the player suggest Martinelli wants guaranteed Champions League football and to become a key player wherever he goes next. His current contract runs until the summer of 2027. Now, my analysis of this requires careful handling because this is not a confirmed departure. It is a reported openness to offers, but let us look at what the facts tell us. Martinelli is 24. He has not been a regular starter this season. He wants Champions League football and a key role, and Arsenal are reportedly willing to consider serious offers at around £50 million. If all of that is accurate, then the picture is of a talented player at a crossroads. He joined Arsenal as a teenager and developed into a Premier League winger. But as Arsenal's squad quality has grown, competition for starting spots has intensified. Trossard's form has pushed Martinelli down the pecking order. This connects back to Arsenal's priority of signing a new winger this summer. If they are looking at options like Anthony Gordon, Rafael Leao or Kevin Shade as reported, then generating funds through Martinelli's potential sale becomes part of the financial strategy. The reality for Arsenal is that a £50 million sale, if it happens, would provide both a financial contribution and a roster spot for a new wide option. Whether that decision ultimately gets made and whether any of those named targets materialise remains to be seen, but the framework of the situation is clear. The full summer picture. Let us bring everything together, because when you lay all of these stories side by side, a very coherent picture emerges. Arsenal's ownership has confirmed financial backing for the summer. 4 positions have been prioritised: fullback, midfield, winger and striker. On the striker front, Kofane'S agent has confirmed genuine interest and live contact. Viktor Gyökeres continues to be associated with the club in the public consciousness. On the midfield front, Morten Hjulmand remains a consideration at €40 million, and Edison from Atalanta is also being looked at for around €50 million. On the winger front, Martinelli's potential departure could create space and funds for a new left-sided option. On the fullback front, Arsenal are reportedly leading the race for Tino Livramento from Newcastle United. Inside the dressing room, Martin Ødegaard has spoken with genuine warmth about Arteta, the freedom he is given and the standards the manager demands. The captain is settled, the culture is strong. At youth level, Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly are being praised at international level by the England under-21 manager. The pipeline is producing, and at the England senior level, Tuchel's words confirmed that Saka and Rice are considered essential figures in international football, not just Premier League contributors. This is not a club drifting. This is a club with a clear identity, a clear plan and a clear direction. The summer is coming, and the evidence suggests Arsenal are ready for it. Thank you for staying until the end of this breakdown. If you found value in this analysis, subscribe to Melissa Arsenal Analyst, like this video so more people can find it, and leave a comment below telling me which of today's stories you found most significant. I will see you in the next one.